It is Friday, Earth time. I am your daddy man designate in the food preparation room. Welcome to Mutant Cafe. Tonight we will be making mandatory food preparation number 3, lemon caper chicken with pappardelle. I can't keep that going the whole time. Welcome to Mutant Cafe, y'all. It is Friday. I am your favorite daddy man in the kitchen. I can't keep being a bad person the whole entire time, or we will be cooking for literal hours. Welcome to the show. So let's get your water boiling right away. We are making lemon caper chicken with pappardelle. It is one of our favorite meals. It is super easy, super quick, and delicious, and it goes along with tonight's movie, which we will be watching at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, 1978. If you've seen it, you know where I'm going. If not, you will enjoy it once we get to that point in the movie. It's pretty early. You will probably still be eating and may not want to eat after that. So, as we always do, let's get to those ingredients. We have, like I said, a big boiling pot of water. We've got 1 pound of pappardelle, 2 whole skinless and boneless chicken breasts. They should be butterflied and then cut in half, so you have 4 nice pieces. Mine are pretty thin, but we're gonna make them slightly thinner. Sea salt and fresh ground black pepper. All-purpose flour in a nice big bowl. We're going to dredge that, and I'll show you what that means. 6 tablespoons of unsalted butter. We've got 5 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. 1/3 cup of fresh lemon juice. Start squeezing that if you haven't already. You also need an additional lemon, which we are going to use half of. The brighter the better. 1/2 additional whole lemon, we got that. 1/2 cup of chicken stock. 1/4 cup of capers. Capers come in 3 different sizes: small, medium, and large. For this one, I'm using the medium. Small are pretty tiny; they're going to get lost in this dish. Big are actually mostly used in martinis, nice and big, almost look like an olive. 1/2 cup of cream and parsley. So we're going to get some of this off the board, because the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start with the chicken. A lot of this off the board. Alright, keep that chicken going. You are going to need a knife. You're going to need a meat tenderizer if you have it. If you don't, you can use a hammer. You can use a really large can. You can use the bottom of a pan. There's a lot of different things you can do here to get the effect that you need. Let's get this pappardelle out of the way. You're going to need some tongs, and you're going to need a wooden spoon. First things first, we're going to pound out that chicken. You need towels. We want this chicken nice and dry. And you're going to take the first 2 chicken breasts in a plastic bag. And nice and dry in a plastic bag. 1. Let's get that second breast in there. In that plastic bag. Seal it up really well. I'll get you out of the way. Get that down on your board. You're literally going to pound it out. Don't make it too thin, but you definitely want these to cook quick. We're only going to cook them on 3 minutes per side. See, because the salt and pepper's in the way, I apologize. But as you can see, it's also not very thick. I would call that about 1/8 of an inch thick. Next, you're going to take that and lay it right down in your flour. A little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. That nice coated all your sides. A little bit of salt on that side, a little bit of pepper on that side, and let's get the second one in. Again, salt and pepper. Flip it over. If there's any little pieces that didn't get covered, just take a pinch, put it on there. A little bit of salt on that side, a little bit of pepper on that side. All right. Next thing, we're going to take 2 tablespoons of butter in a pan on medium. A little too high there. You want to hear that sizzle? What's going on there? And 2 tablespoons of olive oil. That's going to slow that butter from burning. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this chicken, shake it off. Make sure you got all your spots. You shouldn't really see a lot of pink. Shake that off right in that hot pan with that butter. There you go, shake that one off. So you got 2 going in that pan now. And that is going to go for 3 minutes. And while that's going, let's flour out of the way. Your next 2 chicken breasts. Pat them dry. Both sides. In your bag. Good stuff. Pound it up. Done. That's what you're looking for. About 1/8. Alright, we're done with that bag. Get these both in the flour. Salt on both of them. And a little pepper on both of them. Nice and coated with that flour. Should get all of it. Salt and pepper the other side. Alright, now we're prepped. And we are at 2 minutes. Let's check that out. Not quite yet. I'm going to get that heat up just a little bit. As you can see, it's starting to cook. We're not getting a brown that we're looking for. We want a nice brown coating on there. There you go. That's a little more sizzle. Hear that? So we are watching the 1978 horror classic Invasion of the Body Snatchers. My absolute favorite 1970s horror film. A lot of people in that movie. Directed by Philip Kaufman. We got Donald Sutherland as Matthew Bonnell. We've got Brooke Adams as Elizabeth Driscoll. They are our 2 leads. We also have Jeff Goldblum. Very young, very delectable Jeff Goldblum. We've got Veronica Cartwright, a personal favorite. And we've got Leonard Nimoy, believe it or not, in one of his very first movie roles. This is an adaptation and a remake. Also a 1954 flip. Some would say a remake. Some would actually call it continuation. There is an actor slash character from the first one that is in a pivotal scene of the second one, the one that we're watching tonight. So some do call it a continuation. It's a remake. I mean, it's a little in joke that he's in there, but I mean, you could theoretically say that it's a continuation of the story. I don't want to give too much away for those of you that have not seen it, although the movie's been around for a while. I'd be shocked if you don't know what it's about. We are going to tweet that at 8 o'clock. So, talk a little bit about what was going on in the 70s. We've just gone through Watergate. A lot of people were very suspicious of the government and whether they were actually serving the people as we had elected them to do. A lot of paranoia going on, just general in the world at the time. Like I said, it's the late 70s. We had just had, interestingly enough, while this movie was being produced, New York City had gone through its first full city blackout, in which we saw riots, looting, all kinds of catastrophe that had everyone unnerved. We were just generally unnerved culturally at the time. And psychology was definitely taking the forefront in culture. Going to the psychologist was starting to become a thing that you were hearing more people talk about. And the question was, could we trust psychologists? Could you simply put a smile on your face and fix your problems? A lot of that plays into this movie tonight. I am drinking a Betsy Palmer. If you would like that recipe, it is on the website and on the link. This is from the Friday the 13th episode. Basically, half iced tea, half lemonade, I guess a third iced tea, a third lemonade, and a third lemoncello. It is delicious. Check it out. Alright, we're done with that. And we're done. The second side. Nice and crispy. I'm going to go with these next pieces. And before we do that, we're going to go 2 more tablespoons of butter in that pan. We're going to do the exact same thing for this one. More tablespoons of olive oil. Let come back up to a heat. Shake that chicken breast off. Right in the pan. And that's the sizzle you're looking for. Shake that off. And in the pan. You're done with flour. So, let us get to the lemon portion of the recipe. We are going to cut these lemons extremely thin. You've heard me talk about cutting an onion. It's very, very similar here. Last thing you want to do is start cutting into this and having this roll around the board like that. So you're going to go right here, and you're just going to make a little tiny notch, carefully. Now that lemon is sitting, it's not rolling, okay? You're gonna cut the nub end. This is the end that actually hangs off of the tree. Let's cut just a little bit in from that, because what's going on there is all you're getting is the white pith, and that does not taste great. What you want is some of this lemon goodness. As you can see, there's still not a lot of lemon, so I'm gonna cut, even further in, so you can start to see that citrus. Now, you want to be using an extremely sharp knife, the sharpest knife that you have. we're going to cut these extremely thin as you can possibly get them, because they're going to go in this hot oil and hot butter. They're going to start crisping up. They're going to start releasing their juices into the oil and the butter and crisp up so they're edible. So you want these paper thin. You almost want to be able to see through these. And you'll notice what I'm doing is I'm curling my fingers in. I'm getting my thumb in so nothing's getting cut. And so my knife rests right here on this knuckle. Okay? You're going to go paper thin with that lemon. Okay? How thin that is. So you get about half that lemon. They don't have to be perfect circles. Okay? You want about 8 to 10 of these lemon slices. Careful. Look at that. Super thin. Okay? One more. There we go. And if you got some here at the end that are a little too thick or you're not quite happy about it because you were getting going, don't worry about them. All right. We're going to give these a turn. The last turn here. All right. Hear that sizzle? Delicious. 3 minutes to go on this. All right. Hopefully your water's boiling. This is the last episode for 1970s Horror Month for Mutant Cafe. Next week, we have the big Halloween Hootenanny with The Last Drive-In, Joe Bob Briggs, and Darcy the Mail Girl. We will be here at 7 o'clock Eastern Time, the normal time for Mutant Cafe, and we are going to be making the Mutant Brain Meatloaf. It is a delicious, herby turkey meatloaf shaped like a brain with a great tomato sauce on the top. It's great with mashed potatoes. It's really good with pasta. It's good with a lot of veg if you like the veg. We are also going to be doing a delicious, if you've seen our bourbon milkshakes, we're going to take a little spin on it since it's the Halloween Hootenanny, and we are going to do a maple bourbon milkshake with a candied pecan top. So you are not going to want to miss that. We're getting all that in the hour before the 1 hour trailer countdown starts. So that is 7 o'clock Eastern Time next week, right here in Mutant Cafe. The Last Drive-In Halloween Hootenanny special. And then we're going to dive into November. I've got something special planned for that. We'll talk about that next week. All right. See how this chicken's doing? Don't rush the chicken. Chicken's the longest part of it. But you want the chicken cooked, obviously. Last thing you want is uncooked chicken. But look how delicious and golden that's getting. See that? That's what you're looking for. Got this last side 1 more minute. Alright, we got your lemons. We're going to bring up now capers, chicken stock, and your lemon juice. Those are coming up on deck, I guess you say, if you follow us, which I do now. Hope you're going to tweet along with us. If you're tweeting along with us, make sure you use the hashtag Mutant Cafe, Mutant Fam, and Invasion of the Body Snatchers. And make sure, again, you're watching the 1978 version, not the 56, not the 82 of Ticket to Jen Guster. And you're definitely not watching that Nicole Kidman one, because nobody needs to watch that. Alright, that's it. Chicken is Done. Look at that. All right, nice and brown. Same thing as if you're making a piccata, something like that. 2 more tablespoons of butter. This is not a fat-free dish. That's all right. You deserve it. A little more olive oil. And let's get those lemons in there. You want the lemons laying flat on the pan, not overlapping. And you immediately smell that strong lemon smell. So you can see that here. What's going on? You got all those brown bits going on in the pan. You got those lemons going. Lemons are instantly turning brown. I can't get it so you can see them. Trust me. They're cooking up. They're getting delicious. Now what we're going to do while those are cooking, hopefully your water is boiling. You're going to take your pappardelle, get it in the water. Get it back up to a boil. Give it a nice stir. You're going to cook that for about 2 minutes less than what the package says, which should be about 7 to 10 minutes. Go on the left side if it gives you a range, like I just said, 7 to 10 minutes. We're going to go for 7. Okay. Because we're going to get it back in the pan, and we're going to do that last couple minutes of cooking. Obviously, I'm not trying to talk down, but what's going on right now is that dried pasta. Oh, by the way, if you are using fresh pasta, that only needs a minute or 2. Do not put that in right now. You are going to want to put that in pretty much when I put these ingredients in, then get it in there for like literally 2 minutes and no more. I'm going to give this one more stir. Okay. Lemon is looking delicious. See how all the juice part is disappearing, it's going into that pan, and this part is getting nice and crispy. Flip them over. So what's going on in the pan, obviously, is you've got dried pasta. As it boils, the starches are being released, and as the starches are being released, the water is being pulled in, and so it's making it puff up. So if you take it off the fire a few minutes before it's done, it's still got some releasing and pulling in to do. And so if you put it in your sauce, that sauce is going to pull into your pasta, and it's going to be inside your pasta. Instead of rolling around, falling at the bottom of your bowl, you got that delicious sauce inside your pasta. It's a trick for any pasta dish that you're doing. When you go to a restaurant and you love that pasta and you can't believe how amazing it tastes, that's what the chef's doing. They're throwing that pasta in the pan and they're cooking it for the last 2 minutes in the pan. All right? Keep stirring this around. We're going to get rid of this. I'm going to go to a wooden spoon. We got about, if I say 7 minutes, so we got about 5 minutes here. So we are just about ready to get the last ingredients in that pan. With this wooden spoon and that butter and the juice that's coming out there, you can start scraping all those brown bits off the bottom. It's hot. See all those brown bits, how they're starting to loosen up? You want to keep that. That's yum. It's flour, it's salt, it's pepper, it's chicken juice. It's just going to make the sauce even better. Nothing wrong with that. Okay? Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to carefully put in the chicken stock. Turn that down a little bit. And the lemon juice. And your capers. Yum, yum, and yum. yum. A little bit of pepper. Tiny little bit of salt. You don't need a ton. Those capers have some salt. I know you rinsed them out, but they're still going to have some salt in it. There we go. Capers naturally are, they're salted, they're brined. They're almost like a pickle. Now that you got all this liquid in there, you could definitely get the bottom of the pan scraped up. Shouldn't be feeling anything but pan there on that wood now. Get this up to a boil. Okay. Just give it a little taste. See if it's salty enough. Definitely no more salt on mine. Try yours. Yours may be a little different. Bring this up to a boil. You're going to reduce this down just a little bit. Now, your chicken has been resting. You always want to let your meat rest for a couple minutes. You pull this chicken right out of the pan, right off the grill, right out of the oven, turkey, whatever kind of poultry you're talking about, and you immediately start cutting into that. What's going to happen is all that amazing juice is going to come right out onto your board. That's the last thing you want. You want that juice to stay in the chicken. So you want the chicken to cool down just slightly, not completely cool, but for a minute or two. And now you can cut it into nice strips, and you're not going to get any juice on your board. Okay. And there is going to be juice on this pan, or excuse me, on this plate. That's fine. That's going to go right in with everything else. You have about 2 more minutes on that pasta. Cut this last one. Yum. This chicken is delicious. So good. Already. You can eat that on its own. In a salad. Tons of things you can do with that. Like I said, chicken piccata. Very similar to a lot of different Italian dishes. Prepare their chicken that way. Get that board a little clean while we're waiting. Okay. Now we are going to take that cream and get that right in there. It's going to make that nice, thick, and beautiful. So pretty. Get that boiling up. And while we wait this last minute, get your giant bowl, your platter, whatever you're going to serve this on, get it out, because we are very close. Stirring that around. Alright, it is pasta time. Now, do not panic. Like I said, it's not going to seem done yet. That's alright. So let's grab that pasta. Alright, you got that pasta shaken out. Get it right in the pan. We picked Pappardelle because it's a nice, thick pasta that's going to hold well with this thick sauce. A lot of times you see this served on like an angel hair pasta. It's just not my favorite. It's thin. You kind of lose the pasta in this big, thick cream sauce. And before you clean up that water, let's get this stirred in. Just start folding. If you watched last week, you know folding is you're going to go half, pull from the bottom up to the top. Just keep moving that pasta around. Should be getting coated. There you go. Should be thickening up. Keep that heat on medium high to high. It smells amazing. Wish you guys could smell this. You can't do that yet. Someday. Keep going. This is boiling away. That means that pasta is absorbing the sauce. It's thickening up. And while we mentioned this thickening up, take a small little glass, a measuring cup, whatever. Grab a little bit of that pasta water. The reason I explained to you what was going on is because now what's going to happen is the reason I pulled that pasta water is it's filled with starch. And that's going to thicken that sauce up. So instead, if this sauce gets a little too thick, you may want to put in water, chicken stock, whatever. That's just going to thin it right back down. If you use this pasta water, which has starch in it, it's going to thin it up and then instantly seize it back up so it's a nice, clingy, thick sauce. I don't know the exact science about it, I just know it works and it's delicious. Alright, let's keep going here. Another minute. The final thing we gotta do, I'm gonna grab this parsley. We're gonna just pull off the top. The rest of this back in a glass. Put that glass of water, put that back in your fridge. Hopefully you didn't get too many big stems here. Just gonna roll this into a ball and just dice it up. And I apologize, you can't probably see that, but you know how to dice, right? All right. And this is done. I'm just gonna put the starch in there, just a little bit to thicken this up. Yeah, I don't think we need much of this. You may need it, you may not. Really depends on what you've got going on in your pan right now. This is done. I'm going to hit this with a little bit of pepper. Definitely does not need salt. Again, you can try one of these noodles and check it out for yourself. Nice big stir. This is not in the recipe. This is another little trick. Take one more knob of butter, because it's not bad enough as it is. Throw it on top there. That's how you get that pasta all glistening, creamy looking. Ugh, this looks so good. I'm so hungry. Looks amazing. Alright, here we go. This is the scary part. Let's get this on the platter. Get that butter melted first. Oh, it looks so good. Alright. Parsley in. One more stir. A little bit more. Alright, here we go. The moment of truth. This is your lemon caper chicken with pappardelle. try to be pretty about it, or not. A little bit more parsley. And that is the dish. Let's clean that up. Here we go, y'all. Again, lemon caper, chicken with pappardelle. That's your dish. I hope you enjoy your dinner. And that is it for tonight. We will see you at 8 o'clock Eastern Time in about 20 minutes for 1978 Invasion of the Body Snatchers, my absolute favorite 1970s horror film. I hope you'll be tweeting along. Make sure you use the hashtag Mutant Cafe, hashtag Mutant Fam, F-A-M, and hashtag Invasion of the Body Snatchers. That's how you'll find us if you're tweeting along. And I will also see you next week for the last drive-in Halloween Hootenanny. This is the longest name. And we are going to be making mutant brain meatloaf and a maple bourbon milkshake with candied pecans. So I will see you next week, y'all. Enjoy the food.